Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you guys some things that I got off of eBay fairly recently. A few days ago, it would taken a very long time for it to come in. Well, not a very long time, considering the fact that it actually came early. It's just I was super excited, so it felt like a long time. Now this, I'm not actually sure. This is one of the things. I ordered two things, and they were both ancient artifacts for my display. So I'm going to start opening them up now. Oh yeah, this isn't it. This is a shirt. Okay, never mind. Thought that was one of them, but it's not. Okay, so this is definitely one of them. Sorry about that other thing, but here, I'll get started on opening it. So before I actually show you what's inside, I'm just showing you how many stamps there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They're not stamps from the US. They're stamps from UK. Yeah, from the UK. There's stamps Ukraine. Yeah, a lot of them from there. So it really, really went across the world. I'm going to be opening this up and showing you from what it is. So now, here's the styrofoam, or not styrofoam, bubble wrap. I'm actually going to keep the bag. I'm not exactly sure which one this is. I ordered, oh yeah, this is the arrowheads. So they're very small, as you can see. Yeah, they were arrowheads, ancient arrowheads. I'm going to open this up extremely delicately. I don't actually have scissors, so I will be back in just a second. So I'm back with scissors quickly. Alright, let's get started on opening this up. Now, you can kind of see where the arrowheads are, so I'm just going to start off by gently making a cut in this part. Okay. Now, that really sits sort of. Now, I could see like it's very well packaged. The person packaged it very nicely. Alright. Third. I'm super excited about these. I've been waiting. Oh my god, these are so cool. These are so neat. Gonna make sure, because they might be slightly brittle considering the fact that they're ancient. Oh my god, these are so cool. Alright, so the person taped them up. Put them in tape wraps and saran wrap. This person actually wrapped them up very neatly. Alright, so there's one. Considering the fact that they are ancient, which you guys might be like, oh, they're not ancient. They're just recreations. There's a lot of these. If you think about it, they're Roman and they're brass, but that's because brass was an easy metal from the get. Not brass, bronze. And even though the Roman, if you're smart enough to know this, I'm not saying if you don't know this you're stupid, I'm just saying if you learned this before, the Romans were in the Iron Age, but they did use bronze in a lot of their weapons. So, disposable ones, because they didn't want to use iron, because iron was common then, but it was hard to manufacture. And they didn't want to use, well, harder than bronze, but they didn't want to use too much of it, they didn't want to use too much iron trying to like make arrowheads, which are tiny, and it was very difficult for them to make small iron items. So this is the arrowheads. I'm just going to unwrap the tall one, and I am going to unwrap this one, and I'm going to, oh, this one has a dent in it. Battle damage, that's cool. Oh, that's really neat. That's awesome. And it's not cleaned. This person made sure they did a lot of work on these. They didn't clean them. They, of course, rubbed the dirt off wherever they got it, but they didn't clean them. And that's the thing. If you ever find something that's ancient or historic, don't clean it. Because when you do, it's worthless. Now, originally, back in the day, of course, these would have been sharp. Now, you could probably put it back on an arrow and impale someone with it. Which that wouldn't be good, but you could, realistically. You'd lose it, of course. You wouldn't want to dig for it. Sounds disgusting the more I talk about that. Alright. That is awesome. Oh my gosh. Knowing that I'm holding a piece of history that came from all the way across the world is just really cool. Hey, newsflash. I finally figured out how the person had wrapped them once I finally unwrapped all but two. Now, this is really cool. These things are awesome. Now, of course, there's a few of them that's damaged, but look at this. This one is the one I like most because it has battle damage on it. It somehow acquired battle damage. This one doesn't look like it was ever actually used. Maybe a little bit because there's a little chip there. But this one's in the best condition, I'll tell you that. This one has the biggest battle damage scar. This one is just beat. This one's like they took it and put it in the water or something. It was like found in a river, I suppose. This one, the head of it isn't damaged, but the shaft is, and that's what would have held the stick. And this one, you could still see the grooves, you could still see the shaft. It's just the head of it was like filed down. They're all really cool, and you could tell they're metal by the sound they make when you draw each other. Now, from what I know, it's difficult to get the white material on it. Make it turn green is easy. It's just to get it clump up material like that. These might have been like put in an acid bath, but these two definitely weren't. Especially this one, which is just like recently dug. It's really cool. This one's like sharp and pointy. You could still put these on a shaft and impale someone. Yeah, these are really cool, and they were like, I think $16. Yeah, telling you if you didn't know, these things, they're not worth very much. Well, they're tiny. They're minuscule. They're not even as big as a dime. They're tiny. They're made out of bronze. Yes, Romans weren't in the Bronze Age, but they made bronze weapons and bronze jewelry because it was easy to get your hands on. It was easy to melt. I have personally melted bronze before, and it's not very difficult to melt it. So I suppose that's why they made arrowheads, because they weren't really, arrows weren't really intended to be picked back up and shot again. Although you could, it also depends on the type, like the size of bow you're using, depending on how long the arrow is going to be. If you burned it, it could have destroyed the arrow. Like, you can kind of tell which ones were burned, because the ones that were burned are all chipped up. This one might have been a burning arrow. They could have put a, I don't know what they put on them. They put, like, not leaves, but they put some sort of compound on the front of the arrow that they shanked into the arrowhead, and they lit on fire, and they would, like, have 3 seconds, and then they would fire it. And after 3 seconds, it would let it start burning internally inside of the actual arrow itself. And of course, it would burn the stick down. But when it was in the air, it started flying through this shaft and burning down the stick. So that's how the fire didn't extinguish in the air. And then it would be able to hit targets and set them on fire from that. Now, this one could have been set on fire. You can tell by like all of the chipping in the blade, and it just looks really beat. This one is probably in the best condition of all of them. This one doesn't look like they ever used it. This one looks like it was just in somebody's bag, and they had an arrow in their bag, and they just kept it there. Now, you can all tell they're the same design. These two are definitely the same exact design. It's just this one was used, the shaft is beat. This one's the same design. This one appears to be a different design. Now, this one might be earlier, this one might be later, I'm not sure. This one is definitely a different design. You can tell by the point is longer, and it's not because this one's just deteriorated. All of them, the point, are around the same size. See? They're all around the same size, except for that one, which is like higher than that one. And this one, the point is the same size as all of them. It's just, it doesn't have the same design. The shaft is longer. It just doesn't look the same. So I'm not able to date these. These are probably later. This is probably later too. But this is probably maybe a different, definitely Roman. They're all Roman, but this might have been a different smith who made it. This one might be earlier, because this one, it just looks more beat. It's a completely different design. It goes down, like you could see, these all go like that and then push down. This one just goes straight down. So either it was in a river for a really long time, which I'm pretty sure would look a lot worse if it was, but it just, yeah, it just doesn't, it looks older. All right, that's pretty much my video.